I just used studies for examples on that one. That was when I introduced ACT and the other stuff that I was then later going to clarify. And I figured it was just it was kind of like an essay in the sense that it's like you're presenting your group idea, you're justifying why this group is important based off of other precedents, right? And then you're also pointing out the bedrock of the psychological definitions that are embedded within it, right? Bear with me. I'm trying to explain stuff embedded within it, and then also the bodies of things that have those definitions and like their function. That's why where ACT came in. It was like, okay, they deal with decision fatigue and paralysis of these kinds, and they treat it with these effects. And then I'm assuming as I go forward, because it feels like then I'm supposed to, along with the goals, I'm supposed to describe how I physically do it in my way. Like, okay, so you're talking about decision fatigue. Here's all the precedents. This is an area of therapy called ACT. And now this is how I'm going to do it. And it's going to parallel in this way. Even if it's something I've kind of created, it still would have some, precedents or some connection to like why they would assume, oh, that makes sense. Like,
is the ACT one the therapy they use specifically for schizophrenia sometimes, ACT? Or is it acceptance and commitment therapy?
So it's kind of, it's more of a, it's kind of, it reminds me of a principle there is a thing called ACT. Acceptance and commitment therapy, but it's more like that is like the overall blanket of understanding of everything that we do within these groups. So ACT can look like a lot of different things, but it's basically, instead of it being, that's why I use two examples, because instead of it being centered on what is it called? Instead of it being centered on value clarification, right? Because that's what my purpose is, like like when you figure out your values and when you bring to life the things that you care about most, you are compelled to move towards them, and then that creates a sense of purpose, which then adds to well-being. Acceptance and commitment is another end of that coin, right? Because it's not just about values, because there's some things you have to accept and commit to.
Yeah.
So it was just more, I was trying to add more dimensions of like, because this stuff's hard, when you're dealing with psychological, you're trying to like prove why one behavior, one practice is going to help with psychology of any kind. And so that's why I just felt like acceptance and commitment therapy was the closest to like, when you accept those values and you accept those things, and you model your behavior to reflect those values. There's a sense of acceptance and commitment to then the future goals, right? You're kind of like, so it's like the idea of like not just clarifying it, but you have to do the work to then like, what does the word accept mean? You know what I mean? It's like acceptance is just not a word that you say. It's something that you literally start to then get pulled towards, as well as the commitment that is like intertwined with that idea of acceptance.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting used to how they connect. I just vaguely, it just made sense to me when I put it together. But I think the rest of the other part too, I haven't looked at it yet, but I imagine it's going to add more clarification to, in the end, anybody who picks this up can somewhat understand it, even with just a minimal understanding of like psychology and social work. Because that's what it's for, right? This is meant to be presented to a board that convinces them. The way a dissertation does, but like only about a group in much smaller, obviously.
Yes, it is. This is what I was thinking of when you mentioned the ACT thing. I swear we used to have a program called ACT, and it could be.
It is. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
It's a whole thing. I'm saying the way I referenced it was the concept of ACT. And then I referenced a group that literally used ACT, but I didn't go deep into the details of it because there's a bunch of different types of ACT therapy.
Okay. Yeah, teams adjusted to the ACT model to provide case management services corresponding with their mental illness to receive case management from interdisciplinary. So that's the one that I've.
AA uses it heavily leans on ACT, right? It's accepting that you're an addict. And committing to the 12 steps in the daily, you know what I mean? There's a lot of it goes deeper into literal practical application, but it is somewhat, the title is somewhat just understandable by concept. Which a lot of this stuff is, I've noticed, which is great. I mean, that makes it easier to understand, but it's still, I guess the values would also be in AA because their values are tied to religious affiliation, like to religious concepts. Right, because they value like the strength that that God is the only one that can help them through it.
Right. The spiritual
Mhm.
journey
They
and
use
effort.
they use that for the mothers. They use that. They would say like, "Do you value your kids?" Well, you write a letter to your kids saying that I'm sorry because you died or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, I was
yeah.
like that. But they're basically take their acceptance slash they're like they're getting to acceptance by highlighting the values and actually bringing them to life in a way that's realistic,
Mm-hmm.
meaningful.
How's your paper coming along? Are you any questions? Any thoughts so far? Like, are you just doing the group you ran from Girls Circle and then writing? Is that your group you're going to present?
What do you mean?
Is
Or you did present.
you did
Oh,
present?
yeah. Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then- Is that the group you're doing for the final paper? The creation of? It's okay if it's not. And if you don't have anything done too, it's not due until like a few days from now anyway, right?
13. I thought it was today.
Is it today?
And I'm sure you pushed
You're
back
probably
on the thing
right.
Today. Let me see.
And then
That's
the
why I had it
final.
done today.
No, that's good then. It's
Yeah.
just to. I know myself. I would hold it off till like midnight tonight to do it. So if that's what you're doing, that's okay. But anyway, we can help you with it. It is good to have stuff prepared, and I forget which week you led in Girls Circle.
I think it was week 8.
Okay, that's right. That makes sense. Let me get the other group. I had a few group books. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I like this. This was this. I feel like I need to do more of this because this is objectively hard in the sense that the sections. It's not like an essay. It's not like an essay. Yeah, it's not like an essay. It's like a really weird like. I'm trying to get it in my head. An essay. When I'm done with an essay, I can understand it in my brain when I think about it. I'm just like there's like this introduction. There's these points that I'm making. There's evidence that connects them, and then there's a conclusion or a call to action. Like I can understand all of this, but this one I'm not. I'm having trouble being like, where's the flow here?
Yeah, it is hard, and that is the general way you write up for like your dissertation or thesis, where it's like you'll have the case reviews, you'll have the literature reviews, some research, some like evidence. Well, on the dissertation, they do 6 chapters. So chapter 1 is simple introduction. Chapter 2 on the dissertation is the literature review that supports why you're doing this in the first place, whatever. 3 is more of the research proposal, because that's what you get. When that's accepted, you're considered all that dissertation. So chapter 1, 2, 3, and with it through research proposal. And mine was a case evaluation of the refugee resettlement community at St. Leo's Church. They accepted it. It took me 2 years to get accepted. Then 4 is your design, and then your results, and then discussion. So
The research proposal is you organizing a convincing and compelling breakdown of the exact logistics as well as the purpose for it and how it's going to go about. Like, would you focus more on like how would you conduct it and how does this prove that you're going to get data that's usable?
it does, and you got to show you've had IRB acceptance too.
What's that?
The Institutional Review Board. It's the ethics committee.
Oh,
showing
within
what
the
you're
research
doing.
proposal?
It's ethic.
I see. So you do that first, and then you add that in as like a hey, I'm already lubricated. Like it's already ready to go. Like,
Yes.
I see.
Yep.
Okay.
And I can even show you those. Let me grab the
That makes
notes real
sense.
fast.
Yeah, this one's been hurting my gut. It's convoluted. No wonder they say dissertations are a pain in the butt. This is like a 10th of one. Not even a 10th, actually. It's probably like a 5th of one. It's usually like 100 pages or something.
I had 3. One is more like a photo book, but like about how like when you set women up for failure and like how like body image and
This is
and
a
all of
photo.
that. Yeah, it is. It's all photos. It's about like the breast reductions or breasts. This one was moving on for at-risk women, and then play therapy. So those are the ones I stole from my office because I'm like, I want to try to find other possible peer
Wait,
review.
this is what they would have submitted.
Oh, okay. Now I'm going to show you my dissertation, but that's a group. That would be like a group
Is
for
this what
app.
you would, is this the kind of thing you would submit to them, like literally like this, or is it just with like minimal extra, or is this like after they've submitted this thing?
It would be after they submitted
After,
that.
but would this have, this would have, I mean, the original would have a majority of this in it, right?
Ideally, you would have the majority of it. So let me see if my
I noticed too that there's always multiple parts, so they kind of, is there an expectancy that this should be broken? Because I'm writing it right now from the perspective of one main group. But
Right.
they kind of want you to break it down into weeks of groups. focusing on one
ideally
section at a time.
you
That
run
might make it easier for me, is what I'm saying.
yeah, ideally you run 8 to 10 weeks is a pretty standard group, or like 4, maybe minimum, because
Because I'm wondering then if like my next, because I know that there's more sections, but I'm approaching, I think, to the point where I only need like 1 or 2 more things to add. I wonder if I should focus on the other part, being like, okay, how do I take this and really drive home a couple of sessions that are slightly, they like inch their way towards the ending, as opposed to it being this massive, because there's a lot, I'm trying to put it
right,
down.
yeah,
There's a
yeah, it
lot
does
to
help
cover.
you like break it down for organization. At UC, we had to submit this. It's all digital now, so a lot of times it's that same kind of what you have right now. The purpose. What is the purpose of this? For me, the purpose of the study is twofold: evaluation of the St. Leo Burundi Refugee Ministry Program in Ohio. They had several groups. Then you do the background, and that's kind of my lit review, where you see other people that have talked about
Similar things.
yeah, like how we were all, in a sense, immigrants into the country of the United States. In a sense, what has been done, other people that groups that have succeeded is kind of what I finished off with. Like ours, should refugees generally leave their homeland? They're forced, or it is a choice migration. Forced migration is an experience that has significant trauma. Like if you have war. Hello,
Hi.
are you leading a group today?
Oh,
Did you already lead your group?
no.
Okay. Are you leading it today, or are you going to do this? We only have one per week, this week, next week, and the following week.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay. You definitely, because it will also be your final paper usually.
Okay.
So like if you lead the group and then you write what your group proposal is, people connect those two together.
Okay.
I'm kind of showing a breakdown of how it looks when you do a proposal. Often you have the purpose of the group. Do you know which one you chose? Are you doing a specific week of Girls Circle?
I'm not sure.
Did you want me to show you some of them if it's a helpful reminder? Like one is girl fights or girlfriends. One is getting to know each other. And you can do your own group, start it from scratch and create anything you want. But I gave you guys the album if it's easier to run it off of that, if that makes sense. But I would lead it because we're not here Thursday of next week because I have a conference. So it will be Tuesday next week. And then Thursday after that week is Thanksgiving. So we only have Tuesday, and then we're going fast. Oh, did you get registered okay?
Can I borrow this? Do you need this?
Yeah, you can borrow that.
We can at least, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read
I was
through this
trying
a
to
little
switch
bit.
to online classes, but my advisor told me that our major that we don't have it.
Right. We're not accredited to be online social work. What's going on? Is there a lot of stressors or something?
Yeah, there's a lot
What's
going on campus. I was like, then it's like on back home, so I was trying to help out back home.
mhm.
It would be easier for me to help out being there while also being online with
How far away is home?
3 hours away.
You're going to Michigan, aren't you?
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Well, anything you're willing to share, we're happy to help or discuss. If you don't want to share anything, that's okay too. It's
Okay.
It's-
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I feel like the school is like, it's been changing a lot because of the new president. Not to talk down on the new president, but it's just like been a lot of bad things going on.
mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know. It's just been very negative. And then when it comes to like the building I'm living in, it's like I keep complaining about stuff that they don't change or fix nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Our bathroom been leaking, like the ceiling been leaking. They took off the ceiling to where it's like now it's leaking directly on us while we're showering.
Mm-hmm.
So he was gonna call a plumber, and he hadn't. It's been like weeks on top of weeks. So I had to do something to where I had to tape it up, like do something else.
You
that I
fixed
had to
it,
do.
yeah. Yeah, you
And
fixed
was
it
just
yourself.
Like, yeah, it's just then it's mold and stuff. It's just like a lot for them.
How many hours are you done with for your degree? Are you a sophomore or a
I'm a
junior?
junior.
So you have 60 probably, right?
Yeah,
Maybe say, and then after this quarter you'll have 75. You're getting there. You're like on the finishing stretch.
And then it's like this is expensive. Like living on campus is more expensive.
Of course.
It is.
Double the tuition.
It is
So
for sure.
I'll try to figure it out.
Yeah, I know it's stressful. Any way we can support you. Some people have moved to an apartment in Xenia because it's only 500. I don't know what the norm.
Well, no way, not on their own.
700.
A room maybe.
Yeah.
775 easy.
Okay.
The lowest stuff. No, the best thing to do obviously is to get you and two or three of your friends and move into a house or something. And you're
Right.
paying like $400 a month if that. Because you can get a house for rent for like 16 to 20, right? And you get three. And even if it's just like a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom,
Yeah.
usually a basement. Like there's a way to make that work.
Yeah.
I did that when I first went to school. That was great. I went to one place. There was 5 of us living in it. We made it work, and I was only paying $300 a month for rent.
That's how much I used to pay.
pay.
That's how much I used to pay.
Pay comfortable with a crew of people, but great
Yeah.
to do when you're in college for sure. That's like the only way to really survive if you want to make it on your own, not owe a ton of money.
Okay, this is on D2L if PDF wants to open for me today. If it doesn't, I will open it with the other place. So
If do that,
you
make sure
can,
you know who you're living with, though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
saying,
for
man,
sure.
Make sure that they're people that are reliable and have a history of that. I wanted to throw that in there. I've had some really horrible experiences.
so from this book, you can pick any of these weeks to lead a group. Here's the different names. So you've got the first one is week 1, connecting with each other, or you could lead week 2, labels, how we label each other, and like week 3 is expressing myself, and it gives you, see how they're all 6 pages. It has everything you do to lead a group, and if you just follow the instructions, that's how you lead the group. So it's very, if there's a lot of stress going on, which I know we all do, this is a kind of easier way to get your group formed. If you pick week 4 is accepting all different parts of myself. Week 5 is about cultivating respect. 6 is giving voice to feelings. 7 is part 2 of giving voice to feelings. Week 8 is about romantic relationships. I think you led romantic relationships. Okay. You can do it again if you want. Or girl fights and girlfriends. And then the final group is wholeness and completion. And so this book gives you, like you see here, all the icebreakers you may need, activity list. But let me show, say you pick week 1. Here's kind of, well, the format is you'll have an opening. Maybe it's like you play a song or ring a bell. Then you can do a check-in. It might be, how are you doing? Highs and lows of the week. Some people use the same check-in for all 10 weeks of the group. You're just expected to lead 1 week of that group. Then you might do an activity if it is like pen to paper, writing out like what stressors I have in my life, what are the things I'm grateful for in my life. Then you share with one another and you have a closing ritual. So that's just to simplify it. And when you do your internship and get a job in social work, a lot of times they ask, have you ever led groups and are you interested in leading groups? I am okay either way, but I liked that when I led a group in the Master of Social Work program, I could say, yes, I've led a group before. And like, we know how to do it. We know the process. If you chose week 1, here is exactly everything you do for week 1. Like there's creating the group guidelines, and then they do a game called commonalities between each other. If you need help getting materials, I can help you with it. The purpose is to help girls become more aware of their relationships to self and others, to have girls express with each girl in the group what's going on, and then to facilitate the experience of empathy and commonalities with each other. And it tells you, again, like how to prepare. If you want to do week 1, have a journal for each one. We could even just get you paper, and then prepare beads if you make the commonalities bead games. Opening ritual, again, could be lighting a candle, ringing a bell, having somebody say how they're feeling or highs and lows. Then you introduce the theme about connecting with each other. Then rules you would want to make for the entire group. I just like how this gives you step by step how to do this. And if you need to pull this over to a PowerPoint, and guide you off your computer, that's perfect and fine. Then you would choose an icebreaker. So it could be, and then the group guidelines. So like, how can we create safety in the group? Maybe a flip chart, poster board. That's activity 1. Then check in. So usually they're only 6 pages. So, and then you do the commonalities beads game. Now, if you did week 2, there's other sets of activities. Vision quest. So it just, it tells you from start to finish how you're going to lead that group. And if you want to do something else that you found online, that's okay. If you want to create something yourself, but this will give you like, it's kind of ready-made. How did you like leading the group with the exact instructions so you don't have to use your creativity? Okay. And then that kind of just, it's like a starter kit. So now you guys feel more comfortable the next time you lead a group too. To like, if it's, you do a self-care group or you lead something the next time, and that could be helpful. Any questions on it or?
No, I'm going to actually go through it right now.
Okay. It's probably in the announcements that were as far back as August or September.
So
So
we're taking yoga. I'm debating, so I need 3 credits extra.
and you can do
Oh,
yoga as
actually-
many times as you want.
Well, no. It's just I don't know the equivalent. Has anybody ever taken a 1 credit class besides the seminar class that we did? 1
Walking.
or 2 credit class? I'm just wondering what the workload is, because if it's the same as a 3 credit class, I'm just gonna wait and take a 3 credit class, an extra one that semester.
It's not supposed to be as
But it usually-
defined.
I was gonna
Is
say,
it
'cause
really?
this seminar class we took, that's what, a credit or 2? I think it's only 1 credit that you have to take.
Yeah.
That was definitely as much work as a 3 credit class. I mean, it wasn't any less. They had
Okay.
the same amount of writing that you had to do. I mean, the
Mm.
same amount of commitment time wise. Like it should be equivalent to the credits, but
Right.
I wish I knew more because there's one Tai Chi. I don't know if it's only 1 credit class Monday, Wednesday, but is it gonna still make me commit that much time?
Oh, is that one already listed?
Tai Chi Monday, Wednesday. I would
Wow.
still do that. That sounds awesome. I would
Yeah.
still do Tai Chi, but I mean, not if it's gonna be equivalent to a 3 credit class, because then I'll be taking 1 or 2 more classes versus just another 3 credit class one of the semesters. I wonder who I could talk to for that.
Tai Chi is, I thought, led by Brian Mullins.
I just wonder how much homework commitment. Like, it's one thing if I have to go there and just stay there, but if I have to go home and then come up with like information that I have to
Mhm.
cite, and it's like similar to a 3 credit, it kind of defeats the purpose of Tai Chi.
I agree, and I hope not.
I hope not either.
So as you create your group, also the thing to keep in mind to help you is you only have 2 assignments left. You guys are in the home stretch, and it's 66% of the class. So it's like 2/3 of the class, but you write your final paper by leading the group. This is also how you write a research study. So purpose and background usually are a literature review. Then you do methodology. It tells you how you're going to do research and what the methodology looked like. For me, I just interviewed people. So that's kind of how I broke it down. That's where I needed IRB
Your
approval.
methodology is about how you're going to physically do the group.
Methodology is the method you use. So in groups, it could be different. This is for a dissertation. So I hope I'm not making it more confusing by presenting
I'm
it
trying to
this
think
way.
about, because I use precedents to show to reference the method of why finding purpose and acceptance and all
Yes.
that are related to my 5 questions.
That's good. For
Right.
groups, that's good.
Okay.
But
This methodology, would that be equivalent to, even if it's not about this, I like to understand it, would that be equivalent to then me saying, okay, so those are the precedents for it, how am I going to literally do it in relationship to my group?
and measure it. So
And measure it.
that would be what methodology
Yeah, so
is
meaning
like.
I already showed you the method with my worksheets, right? Remember my group, when we put it out there, that's the method, and we would
Yep.
go in for it, and then we would measure it by some kind of survey and or proof of satisfaction or growth in their career or growth in their areas that they've chosen. And I think
Yeah.
Like how far along have you gotten in this goal that you created in the group later, kind of thing?
Yeah, like they make you make a statement like this. The study will focus on the evaluation of the St. Leo Burundi Ministry Program, including a review of its attainment of goals and its intended impact on the refugees' resettlement and empowerment.
Okay, all right, that makes
So
sense.
you might not know what the group will do, but your intention is this.
Okay, so
with the
this is more of just an
methodology.
explanation of what you intend to do. And
Right.
how you go about it. I see. So just
Right.
to clarify, like it's basically your mission statement in a sense, right?
Yeah,
It's like an
yeah.
extended mission statement. Okay.
Yeah. And then I did my evaluation approach, which I had to find some citations for. And
Which is like a research proposal saying.
it is. That's exactly what this is.
Okay.
And then the IRB had to approve it. So like they're making sure I'm not harming people, that I'm not
Okay. So
you
you're
know.
not just a research proposal, but showing that you're competent in understanding the problems that could occur and that you've accounted for those, or like you've attempted to at least.
Yes, we give them an out at any moment. Like if they want to stop the interview as they're talking about post-Civil War trauma, they can leave and we'll connect them with the counselor.
I'm assuming that's an easy lever for these any kind of group, right? That's
Yeah.
one of the most easiest one is that you announce that no one has to share, and if they're feeling triggered,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can leave at any
They
moment.
can leave at any moment. That's the
kind of
key.
the
It's
blanket
it's
one, right?
it's totally voluntary, and that's huge. So, but
You're
yeah,
not
this
forced
is
to do anything against their religious or something beliefs.
yeah, yep.
Oh, that's a long section.
I know it was
Is
a
that
lot.
for research or is that for everything?
This was my
Research,
research.
yeah.
So because I observed all of the 5 groups they did at St.
Analysis
Leo's,
of data.
and then I had to analyze it. And mine was with interviews. You often pull themes out of the interviews, like what came up as a theme. For yours, it could be like by finding purpose, I knew what I wanted to study in college and could get done efficiently. That could be
Yeah.
one of the
I was
themes.
more motivated in the morning. I felt motivated in the morning instead of like,
Yep.
just feeling lost kind of thing.
And that's, gosh, you're making me wonder if I still have in vivo and does it open up?
And then so you say, here's the data I collected. Because like I said, I'm comparing this obviously to all the citations that I've reviewed. So there's a general theme. It's like, here's the data I've collected, and then the analysis is here's how I interpret that data and what it means and significance, right? In
Yep.
a nutshell, that'd be okay.
Yep.
Just making sure I'm on track.
Yeah.
This stuff's hard to understand.
It is. So
Researching,
like
writing
you're,
these things are hard. It's new for
you're
me.
triangulating your data that you got as themes. I might not have access to this anymore. That sucks. Oh well.
I like it though. I'm closer now than I'm just from all the site, like, cause I know how to read citations, I know how to read studies enough, right? To extract data out of it and understand what the significance of certain, interpretations are, but, understanding it as a whole, like how it functions, I'm sure even people who do one don't necessarily get this far, but I'm trying to understand how to physically conceptualize it and intuitively understand the flow. That's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
This took me 2 years to get
That's
through.
why
and
I think that's
approved.
why, right?
Like,
It's what I'm talking about is that's why it takes that long, right? If the bulk of it is literally not just that you can break down each section and do it, that's systematic. But like the reason it takes so long is you're trying to literally not just pour a bunch of data incoherently in rows, right? You're trying to literally understand it as a body. It's like, how does this work? How does the dimensions within it?
Yeah.
How do I make it understandable for other people? Connect it
Yeah.
to reality and proof.
Well, and then when I did the research proposal, I want to show an example if I have it
It only took
available.
you 2 years for your dissertation, though?
That was the proposal.
That was just the proposal of it.
And then
The
the
dissertation itself,
doing the research, collecting the data, and writing it up took another 2 years.
so 4 altogether. That's not
Yes.
bad. That's quick.
But then the coursework also took me 4 years.
So 8.
Yes.
Okay, so that's more on par with the dissertation.
I was very slow.
Well, that's actually, I think 6 to 10 is
It is.
Yeah, so
It is.
That's actually not that bad. That's
And
right
then
in the middle of the normal.
If you see here is edited May 31st, 2014, edited May, whatever the next date was, edited, and I have every single June 7th,
Every
2014. Right?
iteration of it.
Yeah, and like he had me, I meet with my advisor every week, and like,
Because that's what takes so long, right?
It does.
It's because you can't plagiarize, which is really easy for you to do.
right, yeah,
Even
of
ideas
course.
you think you understood because you learned them 10 years ago, it's super easy to plagiarize. And then obviously fact checking. Sometimes there's updates in data from an original thing that you cited that is now and like disproven or or change, and sometimes it's up to their professor or your what do you call it, your mentor to literally kind of help you with that, to like basically call you out and like be like, hey,
Yeah,
this has changed, by the way. Well, I'm on the field right
It's-
now. We just realized this.
that's the idea. And then my first 3 chapters were 76 pages. So chapter 1 is the purpose of this research study. So it was a lot of this stuff from my IRB, but then using citations, all of that. And then all of his edits are in the side
76 pages,
columns.
double line, though.
It is.
That's not
It's
bad.
double. So I guess, and then here's
Better than I
every
expected.
damn comment he ever made. I wanted to get sick to my stomach every time I got these back.
Oh, are you kidding me? I know. I bet. It's like, yeah, I think the only way to survive that is to like think of it, instead of thinking of it as a thing I need to get done, think about this is my life now.
It
My
is.
life
It
just
really is. You're right.
systematically a
Yep.
little- It's like I don't need to think about how I need to get it done, because I think some people get caught up in the idea of like, I'm getting closer to this thing getting done, instead of how you would treat a job that you're in for 5 years. It's like, this is my job. I'm not thinking about the end of it. I'm literally living my life day by day. This is
Yes.
just another thing I have to do today. I know that
And
sounds
then-
trivial, but I don't think it is.
And you're right. That is kind of what I did. And then I was able to break it up into 4 or 5 different publication pieces. So I would
That's
publish
cool.
chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, and then
And
it
then, so
did.
wait, the publication you can do before the initial, the end result of the actual submission of dissertation, is that what you want to do? Or I thought
You
the dissertation was a publication itself, right? I know it is eventually, but.
it does show up as that. So you're right. Like if I look into my publications, like it will be 2016 right down here.
And that's the entirety.
That's
of
it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the entirety of it. But you also published sections of it.
I embargoed it so that it was not the property of the University of Cincinnati. And in the meantime, you can embargo 2 to 5 years. I was able to publish it piece by piece.
Embargo means to like separate it from that entity so that it's your own personal.
Because UC does own you. Like the University
sure.
of Cincinnati owned this.
I mean,
And
technically here, everything I submit here is technically the property of not just me, but Central State. Right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
technically-
It's harder the higher you goes. Right now, people would be excited for you to publish stuff. So
Of course. I mean,
um,
no one would care. They'd just be happy to have the connection to Central State, right?
yeah, and then you defend it. So that's the defense. My date was 4/25/2016.
Which means exactly what? Just proof.
I have to go and explain everything to
A board.
my my advisor and 2 other dissertation people.
That's the okay. I understood that as that's like the review process. That's like the live. It's almost like a presentation, right? You're presenting it, and they're not necessarily poking at it right there and then. They're just receiving that presentation and then deciding on it afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm. So in June of I guess I did do a year to do all of my data. Maybe I took 3 years for the proposal. I had to present this for my proposal. So like intro, what am I going to do? What is it about? It's about refugees since World War II. We've got a bunch that seek asylum. So you're sharing this to like the 3 main people you have. You give some review of the literature. I'm going to try to simplify this.
Yeah, they must be compressed. How many slides?
I thought it was more than this. This is why I'm kind of shocked because maybe this was just my.
What do they want? Like they only want like a 10, 20. Like, they don't want like an hour review, right? They want like a quick.
Here it is. It is 1 hour. So it was
1
20.
hour,
It was
okay.
22 slides.
Okay.
So maybe I spent 3 minutes on each slide.
Yeah.
And
That makes
then
sense.
did the review of literature, then the background of the refugees that I was studying, the need for the research study. So sometimes that's important. Like you want to see that there is a need and why.
Yeah, for sure. I have that in part of this one, even like where I'm pointing out how, especially the youth nowadays, we're getting trapped in, cell phone
Okay.
use and over, I mentioned a little bit, the overabundance of like opportunity gives us paralysis.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I gave data points about it that like prove that the rates have increased in depression and whatnot, and that it's kind of connected to purpose, at least correlated with in a way that's, justifies the group.
Because you're just sitting there scrolling all day. Like
Yeah,
that's
literally.
the
that's
easy
where the
thing.
decision fatigue comes in, right? That's when like you get this fatigue from just that back and forth pull, and then when you go to make a real decision in your life, like looking for a job or like writing a paper, for example, you're like so depleted. You're like, I don't even want to do this.
I know. Yeah. Well, and that's why I try to break it up for you guys. Like the first half of your final paper due this month, and the second half of your final paper, the whole paper due before finals.
And my point would be an advocacy for doing that first each day.
Yeah,
Meaning like
Yeah.
the first 4 hours of your day should be the hardest stuff, not the easiest stuff.
that
It
is
should be
so
the
true.
scrolling. It
Yeah.
should be the hardest thing because when you
Yeah.
because you can scroll with almost no willpower and energy, but you cannot work on a paper without it, and there's a finite amount.
You always have a purpose of the study. I almost feel like there's a purpose one in the final paper too. I can't remember exactly. Like the purpose of the group. I think there's a purpose.
I added. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is something you asked for, but I had a group purpose statement. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a statement that's like compressed and connected to ACT as well as clarification. Right?
Okay.
To those two. So I use those as like a foundation of the precedents, and then I go through the details that justify even those groups. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like the decision fatigue and like 4 other categories.
And
over choice.
these were all of the programs I observed, the women's group, the ESL group, the academic tutoring group. They really were all groups. And then I interviewed the Paris nurse. I interviewed the food pantry. And
This was the follow-ups. That was proof of that. Those are the things you use to collect the impact.
It is.
Okay.
I was reviewing everything, and I had research questions here. So like, are services being provided as planned based on the theory of refugee resettlement? I made my own theory down here too. I'll show you that
Which
next.
is okay. Interesting.
Do case management services lead to needed resources? Do refugee services? So I'm getting all this from interviews and observing the groups. Does it meet their physical, emotional, mental health, and lead to wellness? Does ESL class lead to citizenship? Because when you take citizenship tests, you have to answer the questions.
And these are
in
questions
English.
that you ask to literally collect the data from those groups that proved there was an impact.
Correct.
Okay.
That was the idea, at
Okay.
least.
Yeah. That was what you were planning for.
And then the big ones were like, does wellness, citizenship, skill development, and ESL classes and improve academic performance lead to economic self-sufficiency? Like my overall goals were defined if we were just enabling them and giving them food, giving them housing, or are all these groups then creating a self-sufficient refugee that no longer in 3 years you don't get Medicare, Medicaid, or food stamps. So you've got to become a citizen and be fully self-supporting. And then
So my connection here, real quick. So my connection here would be so these questions help increase purpose. And then the connection for your economic self-sufficiency would be this purpose helps increase well-being. Right? And then I might even say that well-being creates better career opportunities. Out even into that.
Yeah, I love that. No,
Okay.
that's
And
awesome.
that's what I've been working on anyways in my head. And that's what I now I'm getting why, because you want to get it down to the bedrock of like practical function, like literally what is happening in their lives
Right.
that they would objectively want.
And the girls circle group somehow, when they did their research, went to show that it is statistically significant that it makes girls' lives better with this. I don't remember
Lower
what those
depression
are.
rates,
Yes,
higher job
that's-
satisfaction, like certain things like that.
That's it. So my confusing ass theory.
This is new to me. So this is a formula or a accepted, understood charting of some kind where you have to do specific things to create a theory. What is this? Like,
I made my own theory of refugee
this
resettlement.
scaffolding that you're using, this format is something that people use, right?
So the new, and I don't know if I can, maybe I'll put it into photos, but it's the new asylum refugee, possible mental health challenges, acculturation stress, acculturation challenges, unmet physical needs. Initially, we do an assessment at either St. Leo's or another place, and we'd either refer to an outside agency. A big one is housing, so Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority, and transportation. I should probably pull the final theory that I have that's in my, but we were hoping these 4 services led to these citizenship, economic self-sufficiency, improved academic support.
And I see. So this service did that, and that's where you connected this housing because this also affects well-being.
It does.
I
Yes.
see, and that's why you're doing it. So what I just mentioned with that cascade effect that I mentioned on it, ultimately leading to better career, would that be my theory?
Yeah.
Okay,
If you, and
so that would be
was
how I
weird.
would start the design. I would start with like the bedrock of my purpose that does this, this, and this, and it leads to questions that then affect well-being or purpose, I would say, because of these, and then I would find a way to connect all those, and I'm being vague. But that would be the beginning of my charting if I were to make
That could be. I mean, this felt scary when I did this because I'm creating my own theory,
Of course,
and I called it the theory of refugee resettlement.
But this format that you're using isn't completely fabricated. Like you inserted stuff, but this boxing technique with arrows and correlations and stuff like that, that's a thing you use, right?
Mhm.
Okay, that's like a thing known somewhere else. I could study, what do you call it? A theory of what would I call that? Of scaffolding for theory.
See, and that's where, like,
for theory.
I will admit I heavily relied on my advisor for a lot of this stuff.
I see.
Like,
Well,
that's
that
when I
sounds
start
like-
admitting my own humility. Like, I'm just not that smart, but I'm just.
You're not being bizarre. I think it's more about wisdom and skill, like practice, basically. And in these kind of things, it's more like you rely on experience, not about intelligence. You're just like, I
Right.
haven't done it, dude. I don't get it. My brain doesn't
Right.
work that way yet.
I mentioned the methodology before to you, and mine was explain the logic of the program, why it works, and then the relationship between the program activities and then the outcomes. So I think that was the next one. Instruments, I used questionnaire, Likert scale, and then I also used numbers and interviews. So like questionnaire 1 through 10. Where else? I probably have it at the end of this. Oh yeah, must be 18. That way I didn't have to. The IRB was way easier if
Yes,
you do 18
Of course.
rows.
That's yes. Unless it's a
Must have been there for 6 months. Attendance at least 1 or 2 of these minimum. Did I zoom it too big? Because yeah. And then stage 2 was we did give them money for their time.
Okay,
I had
that's
to
incentive, right?
I had to
That's
pay that out of
incentive.
my own student loans,
How
like
many
that.
participants
It was
do you have?
like 10,
Okay,
but like
still, that's
I-
pretty good, and that's hundreds
I
of
was
bucks.
broke. I'm already 100, so I had to pay an interpreter, I think. So that was another big cost, if I remember correctly. I almost don't
$200 then.
remember. I think so.
Yeah, easily.
And I did quantitative and qualitative, and that used in vivo. And then I observed. I thought I observed more than that, but yeah, the observations, and then
Without questions. Did they ask you questions?
oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
they hammer. I think I had to correct a few things, and I almost don't recall. Like it's
So it's interactive. You do a presentation. They didn't interrupt you until you got to that point.
they will sometimes
Sometimes just
ask
for
in the middle.
clarification,
They will
yeah.
be like,
It's about them
so
understanding it. That's
why
the
are
whole
you
point
doing
of it.
this?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of that? Like,
Because the reason why I've been grilling about this too, not just around understanding, is because my honors project is going to be that for this group.
yeah, I love
I'm gonna
that.
make
I
a
love that.
presentation for this group, and that'll be my extra.
And then the defense almost was a repeat of those. So on when did I do this? I thought it was.
Matter of fact, I'll try to get it done unless there's another group, and because I have a feeling it'll be fine. But one of the days, as soon as I get it done, any day that isn't already dedicated to the other groups, I'm going to present it to you guys if you don't mind.
I would
So I can do a
love that.
physical presentation too. I want to actually practice it. I'm trying to find every way I can to make as many. In my opinion, because a dissertation embodies literally the entire evolution of academia, everything. I mean, there's no better way. Like dissertation is literally you're trying to compress. It's under the guise of one idea or like an area, but it's literally everything in academia is contained within it. Statistical stuff, mathematical stuff, essay-based stuff, organizational stuff,
Mhm.
research stuff. So like every class should be either a variation or in part or in whole, just another mock-up of the whole process of a dissertation, in my opinion. It should
Yeah,
just be
yeah.
constant. We should be like over every class. You'd have another, obviously the equivalent workload, but like it would just, everything would be geared around how do I take this content and adapt it into some part of the dissertation process, whether it's the presentation, whether it's the chart creating, right? Because we did that in human behavior, right? We did that with our geograms and all the others. So we did stuff like this where we were like bringing up charts and trying to connect lines and dots.
Yeah. Okay, so when I think when I presented, I had to show what changes or things that came up, and even like feedback. So like you had to, as a person who worked in refugee resettlement, be flexible and adaptable, and so did the refugees.
That's why it's the blanket, that's why it's a counter to their theory of refugee or something.
Yeah, this is so I had to do an edited version. I'm trying to find if that was the final one. Like I have a final theory of refugee resettlement, and that was the.
I'm sure there's something I can look up to understand the logic behind why these arrows do certain things. Like I get the ones that cascade this to this to that to that. I get that, but like I feel like I'm intuiting that there's specific reasons why you get the bubbles.
Yeah,
on the outside.
so the yellow was the stuff that was provided, and then like mental health services should lead to wellness. Spiritual services not only lead to some of them led to both. Like skill development led to economic self-sufficiency and academic performance.
Yeah.
And then academic support led to both economic self-sufficiency, academic performance, and citizenship. So it was just kind of showing.
It just like defining or clarifying. That would be the one that my part of my clarifying, like kind of function would be one of those things where like whatever I did to help clarify would then lead to a lot of things, because I think that would help with well-being, that would help with your career, you know what I mean? Like, so I get that. I get the flow of that for sure. For me,
Right.
it'd be the extra 10% nuance of like, no, this is specifically how you create a bubble around the arrows. No, you want them to cascade it this way, otherwise, you're not. It gets confusing because there's not an accepted language around that or something. I'm trying to find the words that would describe my understanding.
Yeah, and part of it might be helpful to show you the last. These are my appendices, so you have all of them as separate appendices. I bet you it's probably under D. I have to go to dissertation, and if I have one that's the actual final, we hot linked it. That was my favorite part. It's like if there's one that says theory of refugee resettlement, at least the PDF is hot linked. Maybe you can't hot link these things. Do you remember?
The Adobe Reader thing. Sometimes you can, but
That's not it. So you look at a lot of other evaluation, program evaluations.
what, to similar ones?
Yes.
I see.
And that was a big deal.
And you're trying to collect what worked and what didn't work, or you're trying to do it for precedence to connect what, to proves things.
Some I was looking for even ideas of what we did use to show the theory of refugee resettlement and other programs, like what worked. It was
Yeah, that makes sense, because I'm trying to build a conceptual scaffolding in my mind to like understanding this stuff intuitively rather than to trying to refer to a bunch of terms and like come back to like formulas. I'm
So
trying to just understand it vaguely.
The final revise. In order to be successful and cost efficient, it's important that these agencies consider this theory, formulate their own, adapt existing comprehensive theory that guides the process of resettlement of refugees. Without an overarching theoretical model, the agency could end up devising programs and activities that are scattered, incoherent, and ineffective.
So that the purpose of this is to capitalize on all the work you did so that you can save someone else by just saying, hey, follow this model first. Like you can do all the research, but follow this formula, this boxing, this scaffolding, or this chart, and input your versions of stuff. And then if you do that, at least you get a head start, and you don't have to go through all the crap I did to make this formula.
And it was revised in a few areas. When reviewing the data collected through the observations, the refugees and volunteers in church all indicated that adaptability and flexibility were paramount to the success of the program. The theory of refugee resettlement was revised to show which core services specifically led to particular outcomes. It was found that mental health services, spiritual services, and skill development all contributed to the outcome of wellness. Skill development was an important area of services that led to economic self-sufficiency. They got jobs at Amazon.
Yeah. Makes sense that you would have to adapt to, because that's actually proof that your thing was working, because you go into it with a theory, with a formula, with a method, you do it, and then you realize while collecting feedback, they go, yes, these worked, but what was the most important thing was this, and you didn't realize, oh wait, flexibility and adaptability was even more important than the little technical details you learned in this area. Right?
Yeah.
Like it held more weight, and in the sense that if you weren't flexible and
Mhm.
adaptive, then it wouldn't matter how much you know this stuff, right?
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, yeah. With functional English skills and some guidance by program organizers, the refugees were able to seek and receive government services such as Medicaid or food stamps. Ongoing skill development process helped acquire employment in relation to their abilities. Another area, I even had quotes from the refugees because I interviewed them all, and then you do direct quotes that said, like, without this program, it would have been hard to.
Whether that be anecdotal, like, hey, I feel a better sense of well-being, or I literally got a job that I don't think I could have gotten before. I started noticing that it was easier to do this in my life.
That is, yeah, these are
That makes
appendices. So I guess that my end really was only 120 pages.
Appendices are the basically the edits.
It's the questionnaire. So anything
Oh, okay.
you use to collect data. So this was the one for the nurse. I had 6 questions. I had another questionnaire for the pastoral counselor. That was 9 questions. I had one, and then I recorded the interview and then transcribed it and pulled the themes out, along with the refugee questions, which were, the participants. They all did this. How many years? What's your age? So I was able to get numbers too, and then break it down. So you guys might get something with this from Dr. Greta Winbush in her research class. Do you take hers, or have you taken Gifties only?
Yeah.
Do you like it? Is it tough?
No, it's not bad. That's just me.
That should be everything. I don't know if I put the 2 refugees.
That's cool. That
Oh,
and understanding what's going on.
I had to code it then too, which was a little stressful, but like services that led to wellness, brief and full definitions, and then example words. Or feeling better about myself, feeling more comfortable in
Okay.
Cincinnati, knowing how to use the bus system. So that's how you code like with
Coding is this
Invivo.
boxing technique, these columns.
It's really like themes. If I could open in Vivo, I could show you, but you could highlight a part of the interview and drag it into economic self-sufficiency. You can highlight a part that said self-transportation. Oh, the subcode was like, once they got a car, man, they're off and running. You get a job easy. Like that's for anybody.
sure.
That's so feeling empowered by the women's group, feeling comfortable with skill development, feeling confident. And then I showed, without identifying them, who made these quotes. So that was an
So again, you're trying to
interesting.
take this like from theory to function to testimony in a sense to like outcome with this.
It was, yes. It was full circle. Definitely took a whole year to collect and analyze the data. Then I defended it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Makes
could
sense.
have-
The hardest part is that.
Could have taken longer, but it was better that I did not take any longer than I did.
Yeah.
Because 4 years for class, 2 or 3 for the research proposal, and then really they only want you to have 4 total for proposal and defense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's why the
8.
10 is the longest. Like
10 is
they're
like-
for 10 years. They're like second guessing whether you're gonna get it done.
you beg for an extension at 9 and 10, and sometimes you're like, no, dude, we're not giving it to
Yeah.
you. Like
then you,
my-
then you just ruined all that work. You just lost all
in
that
a
work.
sense, I have a friend who is on 9 or 10 is like begging to.
Yeah.
He's about 62. He's kind of a boomer with a little scatterbrain, and I don't know if he'll finish. I feel bad
See,
for him.
I guess the only recourse at that point, if you do get denied, is to salvage, right? And hit it to be like, okay, there's a lot of work here. I can just then turn into something else. It doesn't have to be this massive dissertation.
That, and the most important is just listen to your advisor and don't fight them. Like I know that sounds like just submit, but if you do
For sure.
that, it goes a lot more
You're only,
smoothly.
you're only trying to get this one done.
I
After that,
know.
you can just publish your own work.
Yes.
Who cares, right? Yeah, of course.
But
Because
I've
they'll be
known
stubborn.
people that like
I
flick
know.
off their advisor committee and fight with them and like
Ridiculous
leave.
because
So
they're like bent on this idea that like this is like they're going to take this to their grave. And it's like, yeah, kind of, it's your foundation, but you can produce like 100 more papers after that no one will even care about that first one at that point. Like,
right.
That's pretty
That's
wild.
that's the biggest.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna work on, that's now if you help me solidify my honors project, I'm just gonna make a presentation out of the paper that I'm doing now.
Yeah, it looks like you're doing well. When you lead your group, it'll help you write your paper too, and we're here to help you all along the way.
Yeah, just take it one step at a time. It's a beast. It's definitely one of the hardest ones I've done so far for as like a paper. A full paper is this for sure.
It is a lot. I mean, it is a lot of details.
It's just so foreign compared to like an essay.
right.
You know, there's just
Right.
such a specific thing, and it has qualities of an essay, but it's not literally like that. Even a research paper, this is a little different. It's like a mix between both, and then its own format.
Mhm. Tuesday, we'll be excited to be here with your group.
Yeah, group time. All right, I'll see you guys.
You're going to do awesome too.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Hi, Professor.
Hi.
I need a question, right?
Yeah.
So I think Ms. Jackson told me the difference between the BA and the BS is that it's only
Languages.
Yeah.
It is.
So
You can easily
I did
switch.
not know that when I registered for Spanish. Now I don't want to do it.
Right. And that's okay.
So instead of Spanish, I don't know which other class I should do.
Oh, I see. Because now you just get to almost take an open elective. Did you change it over to a BS successfully already yet?
No, I don't know.
So you go to the registrar and say, I'm currently registered for a BA in social work. I would like to
But how do,
submit.
but I don't know. How do
You
I know
scan.
if I'm registered for BA?
What'd you say? How do you know that?
How do I know if I'm registered for BA?
They would know. They would tell you.
Oh, okay.
You just go give them your student ID, and then they have like a picture. You scan it, and it says change of major, and it will change you from a Bachelor of Arts in Social Work to a Bachelor of Science. That's all you do. And then you don't have to take a language. We did this on purpose because you don't need to be bilingual to be a social worker.
Okay. So instead of the Spanish, which elective should I take?
Man, I would take, if you've already done any of the forensics, do forensic psychology and forensic social work. You ever heard of those?
Mm-mm.
And it's online. Do you like online better? I know you can only take a few with the Bahamas online, but like one or two.
They're required?
I think you have to have more than half in person or the Bahamas won't pay for it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I would do forensic social work. And I know that, have you taken that yet?
No.
Or have you taken child and families?
I
One.
registered for that.
1 and 2 or just 1? Because there's 2 of them and you can do that.
It's two.
Uh-huh.
I think I only registered for one.
She probably likes that better. You take 1 next semester and 2 your senior year, right? She would like that better. To do it in order. And then do forensic social work or forensic psychology or forensic sociology. Do you have a lot of online classes?
No.
Do you like 'em?
Oh, they're okay.
So those would be the ones I would recommend. If you want easy stuff, just do yoga, walking, running, bowling, basketball.
So let's say if I want to graduate early.
You need 120 hours. Mm. Do you know how many hours you've done? If you're a sophomore, usually you